It's gorgeous out. Let's pop some ducks.
This is the Upduck Podcast, a blend of upland and waterfowl hunting. Tune in as your hosts, Tyler Meaden, Jeff Ludicky, Matt Jeske, chat about training dogs and share their bird hunting stories, tactics, and strategies.
Really just fall asleep with one, and I'll wake up like 4 hours later and I'll be stuck to like the inside of my cheek. So
you're falling asleep with cough drops in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not recommended.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, it may or may not be safe, but it works, right?
Okay.
I get
if you say so.
I was gonna say, does it? I don't know.
It works.
Never tried.
It works.
All right.
And then it's like stuck to the inside of your cheek, and then you get like a canker sore after that because that like sugary stuff that's in it, disintegrates your skin on the inside of your cheek.
I get that part. I can't say I've ever fallen asleep with a cough drop in my mouth, though.
Okay. No. You're missing out.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back to the Upduck Podcast, everybody.
We're recording. Yep.
We are recording, where we are talking about cough drops and illnesses because it is running rampant here at the beginning of March throughout all of our households.
Yeah. And I think our guest just got over a pretty nasty bug as well. So
I did.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So we're going to introduce her right away here. So one of our favorite former guests that we've had on, I want to say the top female sporting clay shooter in the world, avid duck hunter, new lab owner, and what am I missing? Oh, how about shooting coach?
You've just been killing the intros lately. You got to redo mine. I got to hear all these like really nice positive things you can say about me and Matt.
But do I need to say anything positive about you and Matt?
No, there's not a whole lot to say there.
No.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, let's our guest is Madison Sharp. She really is the top female sporting clay shooter in the world. She helped Matt and Jeff have very successful hunting seasons with some of the tips that she provided. Yours truly did not. So yeah, I don't know. I need more tips apparently.
Well, we can still work on that.
Thank you.
We got to get into that a little bit more though, Tyler.
Oh, do we really want to get into that?
No, I think so. So what do you think? What do you think was your Achilles heel this year?
Overthinking and missing the mount. How's that?
Chronic overthinking. That had to have been it. I just remember that podcast when we had Madison on, and the gears were just spinning.
Yeah, Tyler was really excited about it.
Time.
Yeah, Tyler was really stoked about all of his tips, and then me and Jeff took those tips and ran with them, and Tyler did not.
I could watch you, and I could just see like, okay, he's overanalyzing, and
He had a real dry spell there from like most of October.
To the point where after he shot his first duck, he texted both of us and said, "The drought is over." Oh,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was not so good. Too much thinking. Literally, when birds set their wings and I have time to think, it is not good.
Yeah, the mental game in sporting clays, is huge in what we do, and just trying to get better at that. And unfortunately, there's nobody that's perfect with the mental game. If they were, then it wouldn't be a sport. And then you try and take what you know how to do and try and make it better, and you start overthinking it all, and then you take it out to the field. It's the same right there as what it is in sporting clays.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Anyway, Madison, welcome back to the podcast. We're excited to have you on. We have a bevy of things that we can talk about here. Jeff, Matt, where do you guys want to start? What is the first thing you want to ask Madison about?
I want to start with the duck season. I think last time we talked, your goal was to hunt all 60 days of the Arkansas duck season. So I want to hear how close you got, how your season went, and just break it down for us a little bit.
Yeah, so I definitely didn't get to hunt 60 days in Arkansas. It's still my goal. Maybe one day. But I probably hunted close to 30 days, not all in Arkansas. I did a lot of duck hunting here in Texas, and I did some in South Carolina as well. Made a couple of trips out to Arkansas, did that, had a lot of fun. And I just feel like, so in Texas, we had an amazing season here for ducks. Down in Port Aransas, that's where I was hunting at. I mean, there was maybe one hunt where we went and 4 or 5 of us out there together. And that was really the only morning that we didn't limit out. So we had an awesome duck season here. I don't know if we just got lucky when we went, but the guys I hunt with, they put in the time and the effort, and it pays off for us. And really thankful to have those guys and to know them and for them to invite me out. And then South Carolina, we had, I mean, it was our average season. You know, you can go kill your 3 wood ducks every morning. And other than that, you know, you might have a couple teal, get lucky, maybe some geese later on that morning. And then Arkansas, I actually got to go and hunt with Echo Calls. Mr. Rick Dunn, fabulous man, super nice, very welcoming. Got to go do some duck hunting with him and his team, and then also with Remington. And we had some okay mornings. And then I also went to go hunt with my family out in Arkansas. And we had one good morning out there, but the rest, I mean, it was just like, okay, just praying for ducks to come. And I mean, we see them moving, but nothing wanted to fly low those days I was out there. But then my dad went out there and spent probably the last week of the season, and I mean, they shot them up then. So I guess it's just hit and miss, you know, the weather, what it's doing up north. You know, we were hoping that everything was going to freeze up towards y'all's way to push down some birds, but it just didn't happen quick enough.
Yeah, it was a weird year for weather. It really was.
Yeah.
So my next question was, you know, what does a typical duck hunt look like for you? But it sounds like you're just doing a little bit of everything, right? Like you're probably hunting fields, open water, timber, everything.
Yeah, everything. And really, so I duck hunted the Texas coast last year, but I didn't hunt it as hard as what I did this year. So that's been a whole new experience because I've never really hunted, you know, the coast of anywhere. So we would go and hunt on the coast in the flats. And then we would also do some public units down there. And it's more brackish water, so there's a little bit of fresh water in there. And then we actually killed a wood duck one morning, like in the flats, and I was like, okay, I can't believe this. And we heard it, and we were all like, that's not a wood duck. Like we were trying to convince ourselves, and it was a Drake wood duck. Couldn't believe it. And so that's kind of cool to see down there on the coast.
What other species were you killing down there in Texas?
A little bit of everything. So, you know, there's a ton of teal down here. So teal, redheads, pintails, some mottled ducks, some Mexican mallards are down here. We actually killed, I think, 4 greenheads, which is pretty rare for the area where we're hunting at. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything, good mixed bags. Early teal season this year was on fire. I mean, we went and we murdered them, which was a lot of fun. Got in, got out super quick, and you know, just a fellowship of being out there with good friends, watching some guys' dogs work and things like that, which made me really miss my dog that passed away back in April. And then I got this puppy, and she is a handful, but I'm loving every minute of it. So that's been real fun and good.
Well, that's kind of a perfect transition to talk about your new puppy a little bit. What's his or her name?
Yeah, so I got a little yellow female lab. Her name is Tilly. And it was kind of out of nowhere. So so Lily with the L. So when Lily passed away back in April, I was heartbroken. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought the world was coming to an end. You know, they're not just a pet. They're like family. I took her everywhere with me. She came out to Texas with me when I moved out here. She would go out on the course with me. Just well-rounded dog, well-behaved. She loved everyone. She never met a stranger. And then she turned into a different dog whenever we go, which was something that I loved to watch her do. And I think that's another reason why I fell in love with hunting was I got to take my dog and watch her. And so she passed away, and I knew I wanted another one, but I didn't want one right away. So probably September came around, and we had been actively looking for yellow females, which apparently was super hard at the time to find one, and they were just in high demand. And so we had been looking, and we actually had 2 failed attempts. So one of the puppies that we didn't know, we didn't know if there was going to be any yellow females in the litter. And actually the very last one that was born, it was a yellow female, but unfortunately she passed away. And then we had another yellow female, and same thing happened. So those didn't work out. And then this one was literally like a surprise out of nowhere. So we had family friends helping us look, and then we get the call. So Blaine Hilton, who we hunt with out in Arkansas, all of his dogs have been trained by Young Gun Retrievers, Duke Harrell, out of North Carolina. And so he was actually helping him, or getting us, all together, and we were all looking. And so he calls Blaine, and he's like, "Hey, I found a dog." And so Blaine calls my dad, and he's like, "Okay, there's this dog. I don't know much about it, but you need to call Duke." So we called him. And so Justin McMullins out of Alabama, he had a litter of puppies, and the last puppy left was a yellow female. And there are several families that wanted her, but he was like, "This dog has to go to somebody who's going to go hunt with her." And all these other families, it was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll go hunt a couple times a year, more so I'm looking for a family dog." And he's like, "No, like this dog is like the mom and the dad, they're too good of a bloodline." It's like, "I can't just let it go be a family dog." And so we ended up calling him, and 3 days later, I was on a flight to Atlanta. My dad picked me up, and we went to Alabama and got this dog, and she's here now.
So you mentioned that she's did you say trouble? She's a handful.
She's a handful. A big handful.
Fill us in.
Okay, well, where do we want to start at? So, you get the puppy.
Oh boy.
And they're the sweetest, calmest little thing ever. They're precious. And you think, oh my gosh, like this dog has no energy, just wants to sleep all the time. And then they get used to you. And then whenever you have 2 other dogs in the house at the same time, one which is a 110-pound lab, and the other is a Boykin Spaniel that has more energy than most dogs. And they just all start roughhousing together. And this puppy turned into a completely different dog, which is great. I think she's going to have a lot of drive to her, which works out for me, But I mean, it's just been everything. I mean, you name it, the chewing on everything. My mom just bought a new rug, and she's like, "Why would I do?" She's like, "I can't believe I just spent this much money on a rug." And, when we're trying to potty train and all of that. And, but it's been fun. It really has been. And I don't think I'd trade it for the world, especially if she turns into my next best friend.
How old is she now?
She just turned 5 months old, and she actually just went to school this past Saturday.
Okay.
So, as my mom says, she's in boot camp right now.
Yep. I've heard Matt use that term before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've worked with her, and, she knows sit and stay, and lay down. And then we've also started her on retrieving, which she absolutely loves, and water she loves. And, talking about how big of a handful she is. So we have a little spot out in the backyard, and it's like every time we let her out to go out, she runs straight to the water, and she comes back muddy and wet. And it's just like, when you're trying to leave to go do something, and this dog is making you late because you got to go give the dog a bath. And so there's been a couple of nights she's spent outside because she has decided to go and play in the mud. So
how long? So where did you send her for training, and how long is she going to be there? 3-4 months?
Yeah. So we sent her to Duke Harrell that I was talking about, Young Gun Retrievers out of North Carolina. And I actually got to hunt with him and his dog this past season in Arkansas. And his dog was, first of all, she was the sweetest dog ever. But she was a very well-mannered dog. I got to watch her work on hand signals, which gave me some confidence. And I mean, just outstanding, everything she did. And so we sent her to him. She'll be there. You know, I want her to go through everything and be able to be on hand signals. She's going to do her hunt tests and all of that. So starting out, he said probably be right around September when we'll get her back. So 5 to 6 months. And then we'll bring her home for a little while and then maybe even hunt with her for the season, depending on how well she's doing. And then she'll go back after season's over with.
So she'll come back essentially as a started dog?
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she'll be started.
Nice.
Yes.
Matt, Tyler, are you guys familiar with that young gun? Was it young gun retrievers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking right now. I'm like looking it
I'm
up.
going to say you're all over this lineage and the bloodline stuff. So I'm sure you're
trying not to geek out here. You know, I really am.
Yeah. So I think his story was that he had a full-time job and he fell in love with dog training. And so he ended up quitting his day job. And now this is what he does for a living. So very nice guy, well-rounded dogs. His dogs hunted great. What little bit of time I got to spend with them. So that was all, gave me a lot of confidence in him and you know, what he's going to do with Tilly. So I'm excited to see how well she's going to come back and I get to work with her this year and all of that. I wanted to do it myself, but with my schedule and how much you know, in Texas, in South Carolina, and then traveling for competitions, it just wasn't going to be efficient for her. And I want to give her every opportunity to be the best and to go out and go hunt and love what she does.
100%. I used to be. This is a great like stopping point to interject this. I've actually had this thought, and I might just write something about this too, because when I got my first dog, it was just 8 years ago, literally 8 years ago, and I went through like the training process. I was like, I don't understand why people would send their dog to a pro trainer. You have this opportunity to bond and this and that and da 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 da, and then schedules change, right? Kid, like all that stuff,
Yep.
And it's like I can't hardly find time to train my dogs once a week.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like the 5 to 6 I was putting in. And it's like, oh, if you want your dog to have the skills and experience needed to go out, especially with as much hunting as you're doing, and you can't do it, that's why there's professional dog trainers.
Yeah. And so my dad, we had a black lab and he was an amazing dog. I mean, I can remember as a kid, and my dad worked with him every single day before work and then after work when he got home. And I can remember that my dad could go and put a hot dog on this dog's nose and he would balance it. My dad could tell him to stay and he could walk, I don't know, probably 100 yards, a couple hundred yards away. And he would yell at the dog, you know, he could go ahead and eat it. And then the dog would sit there and wait for my dad to tell him to come back to him. And it's like, that's amazing, but I just don't have the time. And unfortunately, my dad doesn't have the time, because if he did, I would love for my dad to actually train my dog. Yeah. I mean, he took a ton of time up with that dog, and it showed, because that dog was very well mannered. It was a great hunter. It was a family dog as well. And so, you know, great for people that have the time and that can do that. I think it's awesome, but I just don't. And I want to give my dog every opportunity and for her to be the best.
Absolutely. I think Matt, a while ago we talked about when you finally do get your second dog, we were talking about sending it to a pro trainer for 3 months to go through some of that interim stuff that you don't want to do.
Yep, definitely that first 3 month stuff that I don't want to. I mean, I love the training part of it, and there'll be definitely parts that I want to do. It's just I don't have time for the multiple short sessions of force fetch, nor do I want to do it. And then just some of that basic stuff, you know, especially growing family, and I just don't have the time I did 7 years ago when we got Maggie. So it'll be different, but it'll be interesting taking over maybe a couple months in or something like that and see how it goes. But yeah, for the same reasons, you just don't have the quality time that you did before.
Yep. Yeah. I'll be curious too, Madison, when you get Tilly back then too, what is the integration back in, right? How do you transition to being, the handler and really taking the lead with her out in the field and stuff? That'll be fun. It'll be fun to work through.
And so like something else too, so when I had Lily, so we just sent her off to obedience school. I had more time, I was in high school, so I got to come home in the afternoons, and it literally, my afternoons were, okay, I need to work with my dog a little bit and then go practice and come home and do homework, that type of thing. So like that was like part of like my routine. I had the time to do it with her, and she did great. She did everything I needed her to do. She wasn't on hand signals, nothing to that extent, but for me and for what I was doing at the time, it worked out perfect. And I think that was a super easy transition for her because she was only gone for 3 or 4 weeks, and then she came back home. And I don't feel like that dogs forget who you are, me personally. So I am excited to have her back, and I'm actually going to go up and visit with her probably in about a month. And so I'll go work with her a little bit, kind of see where we're at, and just temporarily spend just a little bit of time with her, and kind of do like these little check-ins and all of that, which I think is absolutely great. I'll get to see the progress she's made, and I'll actually get to handle her a little bit.
So what is your ultimate goal with her? Is you going to primarily waterfowl hunting, right? Are you going to continue to do hunt tests, you think, or maybe even do some upland hunting, or what do you think?
Yeah, so definitely, I wouldn't say I don't care about the hunt test, but that's not like the number one thing that I want out of her. What I want is another best friend that I can bring to the duck blind with me and take her hunting. I love duck hunting more than anything, probably. That's my favorite kind, and probably my second is turkeys. But unfortunately, there's not much retrieving there for dogs. But yeah, I would say primarily waterfowl hunting with her. I'd love to do some upland stuff with her, but my main focus is duck hunting for right now. Goose hunting as well.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Well, I'll be excited to follow along and watch Tilly's journey and your journey really as a team too, right? As she gets older and more seasoned and you take her out for her first year, that'll be fun. It'll be fun to see you two develop. So I love watching teams of owner or handlers and dogs develop and grow. That's always a really enjoyable process for me to sit back and look at. So looking forward to that. Jeff, Matt, anything else we want to know about Tilly?
I'm the pointer guy.
I know you are the pointer guy. Yeah. I know. But usually come up with some interesting questions though on the lab side. Yeah. All right.
I want to transition back into shooting a little bit.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm waiting for that. So you just got back from Dubai, right, Madison?
I did, yes.
How did that go? It was I forget what did they call it? The mountain challenge or something like that?
Yeah, the Fujairah shooting mountain challenge, I think is what they call it. So like they use the abbreviation of FMSC. So that's what all us Americans call it. But yeah, I just got back. That happened the first week of February. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoy going over there, getting to learn, the culture, getting to see targets that I never get to see because the background is completely different. We're shooting, a couple hundred yards under our feet in some spots. We're shooting up above our heads, targets being thrown off of cliffs. We got to shoot over some water. They actually had a boat take us from one layout to another, which was really cool. And I think every year they're just trying to make the shoot better. And it was definitely challenging for sure. And, I didn't perform my best. And I think that part of it was this year, a lot of things in my life has changed. I'm growing with my instruction. I'm trying to hunt more. And I needed just almost like I don't want to say a bigger break between my season and my off time, but I feel like I did. So I took a little bit longer break than I normally would before I started practicing again. And that definitely, it reflected on how I performed. But I finished fifth over there, fifth or sixth. So it wasn't absolutely terrible, but it wasn't my best performance. But every year, this is the second year they put on that shoot. Every year it just keeps getting better and better. And it's kind of fun when my parents, I'll call them and we're on a 11-hour time difference. And they're like, oh, what did you do today? And I get to tell them all about my day and how I shot. And so that's always fun. And so I can't wait to go back, in 2 years again and go do it again. And hopefully next time I'll be better prepared.
I want to back up for a second. I heard you say something interesting. You talked about like hunting more and how that could have potentially like affected your performance. Do you find that that's similar? Like, I know I played baseball a lot when I was a kid, and people would say, if you go out and golf, right, or vice versa, that can potentially alter the way that you swing, right? You're going to swing more like a baseball bat and you're going to have a wicked slice. Do you find that like the more you're hunting, the more it could potentially negatively affect your shooting performance, or not really?
I mean, I wouldn't say that it negatively affects my performance. I think more so my mind is set in hunting mode and not clay shooting mode. But I've always said that you can take a sporting clay shooter and they can be a hunter, but a hunter can't always be a sporting clay shooter just because they don't have the fundamentals, the technique, that type of thing, and really work on, perfecting everything. So I think that maybe that has something to do with it, but I get what you're saying 100%. And maybe it did. And maybe I'm just not noticing it, but now my goal and my mindset is back to competition, and I'm getting ready to hit it hard this year. And I'm going to find a little bit of time in between to go turkey hunt. I'm trying to get a Grand Slam this year. So yeah, a lot of things planned and very little time to get it all done.
For sure. Well, we're definitely going to talk about the Grand Slam, but we can go back to like Dubai for a second.
Yeah.
Is it an invitational only type event, or do you have to qualify in some way to get invited to go?
No. So anybody can sign up and go. So you guys could go. Anyone from any country can go. There's not like a restriction or invitation only. And which was really cool because there's, some Americans, you had some of the best shooters in the world over there. And then you had some that were over there like, hey, I'm going over here basically for a vacation. I get to shoot too. So it's awesome. I get to go stay in the resort for a week, and then I get to go out to the desert and go and shoot, which who wouldn't want to do that? Sounds like a lot of fun, right? So
for sure.
There's a lot of people who went over just for a vacation.
Nice. Now, how much sightseeing do you get to do while you're over there?
So I didn't really do much. Besides like when we were driving back and forth between the resort and the club, there's a beach. I walk down on the beach, that type of thing. But I'm more the person who wants to go and shoot and then come back and just kind of relax and take my mind off of shooting. I don't want to go do a lot of things now. Like some of my shoots. So this year I'll be going to Cyprus during the summer for the World Feed Task. And when I go over there, my first week I'm there, I'm strictly shooting, not doing anything. But then I'm going to take a couple of days after, and I'm going to go sightsee, stay at a resort. I hear that the water is absolutely beautiful over there. It's crystal clear. So I'm going to I'll take some time then for more of a vacation, but that'll be after I get done shooting.
Nice. And how many events do you have this year?
Probably, if I had to guess, right around 15.
Oh, geez. You are going to be busy.
Very busy.
Yeah. And it's basically just jam-packed into, you had your first one now. When do they kind of start here in the lower 48? Is it another month or so?
No. So so really our season runs from February to October. Now, obviously, anybody can go find a shoot, especially in Texas. Almost every weekend you could probably find a shoot in Texas. But our main season, where all of our major competitions just run February through October. So all that stuff is starting now. It's been happening. So really it starts down in Florida. There's 4 or 5 shoots back to back down in Florida because the weather is so nice. And then, as it gets nicer weather, you'll start seeing more shoots up north. more out west, that type of thing. So really, I mean, there's so many shoots you can choose from, which ones you want to go to, all the major competitions, some of the local things. But I mean, you could shoot all year round if you wanted to.
So what are the main ones that you're looking forward to most? Like, what are the big ones? Like, they have majors in golf. You mentioned they kind of have a similar thing in sporting clays, right?
Yes. So this year, my goal is I would like to win the World Feed Task. I've never won a World Feed Task before. I've won the World English. I did that this past summer. So that's really what I'm looking forward to this year. So I'll go and shoot what we call the championship tour. So it's 5 regionals, the US Open, and nationals. So all of those are very important, not just because of the names and what the titles mean, but because it also determines who makes Team USA for 2026. So we go and compete in all of those, and it's based off of a points ranking system. So it's important for me to do well at those to make the team for the following year. But I'm really looking forward to the World Feed Task in Cyprus. Never been there before, so I think it's going to be super cool, and I'm already starting to prepare for that.
So you mentioned Team USA. So you're talking Olympics.
No, not quite. So
Okay.
in my world, we don't have the Olympics in sporting clays. So they only do trap and skeet, international trap and skeet. So, and why, I don't really understand or don't know. I've heard it's because trap and skeet is standardized. So you can go here, you can go across the world, and it's all the same. I think they say there's a little unfairness with sporting clays because not everybody can practice the same exact targets to prepare for the Olympics. I wish they did, and if they did, I definitely would try and make the team for the Olympics.
Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be cool.
So for being on like the USA team, is there international competitions then that are sporting clays, like outside of the Olympic world, then that you're on the team for, or how's that work?
Yes. So we get teams. So obviously you have to shoot well enough, and the team has to shoot well enough. But so like the World English. So last year I won the World English for ladies. And then the ladies team also won the World English. So there's a team score and there's individual score.
Okay.
So the World English is held every other year in the United States, and the World Feed Task is held every 4th year in the United States. Other than that, they travel. So the World English this year will be in England, and the World Feed Task will be in Cyprus.
Where is Cyprus? I'm trying to think of where this is.
Italy, right?
No, it's a completely separate, it's like a tiny little island. I didn't even know it existed, honestly.
I thought it was close to Greece, but when I looked it up, it's over by Turkey, like
Yeah.
its own island over there.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. Yes. I would love to go there. I feel like Cyprus is known for their cuisine, some sort of cuisine, because I've got to bring it back to food, right? So
Of course you got to bring back the food every time.
So yeah, I would, and that's, when you talk about like getting to know the cultures, Madison, of these places that you're traveling to, you also talked about the balance, like you're there to shoot, so you're like really focused on that. Culturally, is it like when you start to get introduced to the culture at these places that you're traveling to, is it food, is it music, like what is it that you try to take in and experience at these places?
Definitely the food. So when I went to Hungary this past summer, the food was amazing. And in Italy, I think it was 2021 when I went over there, the food was so good. But like by the time I got home, I was like, I don't want to see Italian food for at least the next 3 months because this is all we ate. But yeah, the food. And then, so what I found super cool is when I was in Dubai, their culture is completely different over there, especially for women. They're very protected, and their religion is different than what I'm a Christian. So, and there was a lady over there, and she just started talking to me, and she was from Dubai, and she was like, I asked her, I was like, I have some questions, like, if you don't mind me asking. And she was completely fine with me asking. She's like, I love when people ask because I want people to know my culture and learn my culture. So that was super interesting just to hear kind of some of the things that she said about how they do things over there. And then like when I was in Italy, just the language aspect of it too. I think that's super interesting. People dress differently, across the world. The food's different, their languages. And I think it's kind of funny in England, you drive on the left-hand side of the road, which I cannot do, by the way. So it's going to be a challenge this year when I go over. So I'm going to need to take some driving lessons on the left-hand side of the road when I get over there. So thankfully I have some friends that are Brits, so they'll help me out when I go over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, do you tend to find that there's a lot of like different shooting styles of the different shooters from the different countries? Does everybody have their own unique style, or is it all pretty similar?
So for the most part, it's similar. So I would say the only difference, so like in the United States and in England, our sporting clays is different than what other countries consider sporting clays. So in our sporting clays, you can start with the gun mounted. Okay, so for the United States and in England, you can start with the gun mounted. In other countries like Spain, Italy, France, their form of sporting clays is what we call our FITAS. So we're starting with the gun out of the pocket. And that's primarily how all those guys over there shoot, out of the gun. Whereas, for us, a lot of people will start in the gun.
Now, when you say out of the pocket, you still have the gun raised, so to speak, right? It's just not in your shoulder mounted.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it's more or less like under your armpit or something like that, probably.
So I guess the best way I would describe it is, so in FITAS, we have to start 25 centimeters out of the pocket, out from the top of the shoulder. Okay. So they'll measure you, they'll draw a line on you. Some of us have like lines stitched into our vest. So that just indicates like, hey, this is where you start the gun. And I'm sure that in their version of sporting clays that they would start at the FITAS line, because we all go shoot the world FITAS, and that's where they start the gun there. They have to. But I would assume in their sporting that they would do the same.
Do you prefer that method, or do you like starting with the gun mounted?
I like both. I think that you get more away with more when you start with the gun mounted, just because you can miss your mount when you start out of the gun. And timing is huge when starting with the target. So I think that there's definitely, I don't even want to call them disadvantages, because I like both. Sometimes I shoot one better than the other. And I think part of it is because the gun's out of my face. And I don't have this barrel, the whole time just I'm just staring at it, which is what we try to avoid. So the longer you have the gun in front of your face, the higher chance that you're going to check, which is what we don't want to do. So sometimes I like FITAS, and I'll actually practice FITAS probably 90% of my practices. And I just feel better prepared. And I know when I shoot well practicing FITAS, I know I'm going to shoot well shooting mounted. That's something that just works for me. And so I like both. I wouldn't say that there's one way or another, but I do practice more out of the gun than I do in the gun.
I have a question here, because I'm a casual, like most of our listeners are going to be casuals when it comes to shooting sporting clays. You talk about timing. Explain the concept of timing with sporting clays, because if I'm shooting sporting clays, I'm like, there goes the clay, right? I'm gonna hopefully hit my mount and hopefully, bust the clay.
So there's this analogy that I use almost every time I teach. And I'll talk about what timing means first. But so basically, all that means is we have to start the gun in time with the target in order for us to connect. And the analogy that I use is you pull up to this stoplight and the light's red, okay? And you watch the light turn green. Well, how do you go? We take our foot off the brake, the car starts to roll, and then we slowly put it on the gas, right? Well, the opposite of that is we're at the light, you're not paying attention, you're texting, you're looking out the window, whatever you may be doing, and the car behind you honks its horn. Well, then how do you go? You take your foot off the brake and you slam on the gas, right? So in our world, a good way to compare that is when that machine throws that target, that's like our cue of, hey, the light just turned green. We need to start moving the gun. Okay. And then the opposite of that is the target just got thrown and we haven't started moving the gun. And then all of a sudden the target gets too close or it passes us. And then we're trying to just catch back up, playing cat and mouse essentially with the target. And you don't have connection. You've lost all of that. And so my goal is every time I shoot is I want to connect with the target. And all connecting with the target means is we're matching the speed.
That's good. That makes, I think I get it, right? Matching the speed, right? You don't want to be rushed is essentially the thing. You want to go slow, right?
Yes.
What is the, like, there's a quote about something is
Slow, smooth as fast.
Yeah, there it is.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And Tyler's the fastest gun in Oconomowoc, so
Yeah.
maybe you should take this one to heart, Tyler. You got to slow down a little bit.
I shoot better when I shoot fast, though. I tried to slow down. Just a mess.
Don't overthink this one, Tyler.
Yeah.
I can see
the gears are spinning again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Madison, when we shoot sporting clays here casually, when you go to these places and you do what they call like practice rounds, right? You walk up to the station and it tells you exactly what that clay is going to do. Now, I've never participated in any kind of sporting clays competition. I've never watched one. Are they doing that as well at these competitions? Or when you step into the box, like you have no idea where that clay is going to come from?
Oh no, we know. So
Okay.
it's kind of like, I mean, I describe sporting clays as golf with a shotgun. So no different than you walk up to the the second hole, third hole, fourth hole, and you see kind of like where you're starting at and where the end goal is. And same thing here, like there's a squad in front of us and sometimes they're still shooting. We get to see the targets then, but it doesn't matter if we get to watch them, the squad ahead of us shoot, or if they're already moved to the next station. We get 2 show pairs at every competition. So yes, we know exactly where the targets are coming from, what they're doing. It's not a surprise, essentially.
Now, do they have spectators at these events too?
I mean, like family members will come, maybe friends will come, but there's not like people, I wouldn't say like publicly just coming out there to watch us shoot.
Okay. It's not like a golf competition where you can just line up behind the rope and watch everybody shoot.
No, but I mean, anybody is definitely welcome to come out and just watch us shoot. I mean, there's no rule saying you can't do that.
Yeah. I've never been to one. It'd be interesting to see all that.
Yep.
You gonna be in the Midwest this year?
I am. So I am actually coming to Idaho, I believe, in August. I'll be back in Wisconsin this year. And yeah.
Where are you shooting in Wisconsin? I mean, that's where we are. So where are you shooting at?
Oh gosh, what's the name of that place? Hold on one second. Oh, did I lose you guys?
No, we're here.
Okay. Hold on, I can tell you. I don't even remember. This is terrible. I have worked all day, and I'm super tired.
That's it's okay. Trust me.
I'm gonna sign Tyler up for this event.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So our North Central Regional this year is at Game Unlimited. I don't remember. Let's see.
Game Unlimited. I haven't heard of that one.
Hudson, Wisconsin. That's where we're going.
No.
Okay.
That's north, right, Matt?
It's north of me. Yeah, it's up on the river.
Yeah, that's up there, I think. That close to Minnesota?
It's central.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very close.
West Central Wisconsin.
West Central Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not
Okay.
too far.
That's
right across from Minneapolis.
All right, Tyler, start practicing.
I'm not practicing. No, you're taking this the wrong way, Jeff. I'm just thinking, okay, one, I wonder what your schedule is like, Madison, and 2, do you do ad hoc lessons here? Because and then I gotta know. We could talk offline about cost. We don't want to mention that.
You can stick around for an extra day here and and show Tyler a little private lesson.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be traveling a lot this year. But funny enough you say that. I think I'm gonna take a couple of days right after that regional and I'm going to go down to Iowa. I have a couple of friends, and I'm going to go teach for a couple of days. So I'm really excited about that. I've never.
Oh, Tyler?
Yeah.
Matt Jeske
There you
coming to
go.
your state
I
now.
was gonna say. I was
He's
gonna
got the
say.
Iowa colors on right now, too.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What time of year is that one?
That one is, let's see, August. It's like the first probably second week in August. Yeah, second week in August.
Got it.
Tyler, you could come to a hunt test in the general Eastern Iowa area and then maybe get some lessons while out here. Seems to be lining up for you.
This could work out. This could be.
If only there's a
could be-
hunt test right here. The place to
there
stay.
is. That's true. This is all true. Have to get the little black dog to think clearly here and not melt. So yeah, okay. All right. Things to think about here. Good things to think about here. And that is like real close to teal
Month out.
season then too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna show up to opening day of teal season, Jeff, and just be banging them.
I'm ready.
I know, right? Let's go.
I need some help. I need all the help I can get. So I
know.
need shooters. I need to surround myself with shooters.
It's true.
I'm like that big man in the NBA. You know, I just got to surround myself with good shooters so we can have success.
Yeah.
That's right. You get your new boat. Bring all the shooters with you now.
I got the new boat. boat.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked. I don't even know where we were going, but
So you talked about lessons. I know before we started recording, Madison, we talked about your hunt club that you were at last year that you're continuing to teach there. Are you doing anything new with that, or anything you're excited about?
Yeah, so I'm just teaching full time now, and it's been a ton of fun. So I get to make my own schedule, obviously. But what's been super fun about it is all the people I've been able to meet, watching people grow in the sport, just getting better and better. And then one of the most enjoyable pieces of it all is that I'll have, the person I gave a lesson to last week and they went and shot a tournament this week. Hey, like, this is what I did really good. I'm improving, just hearing positive feedback. And then also hearing them basically taking notes of, hey, like, I need to work on this type of target when I'm back with you. So I'm teaching here full time. I've been able to go home and go spend a little more time with my family. So I'm also teaching in South Carolina a little bit. And this year, I'm really looking forward to, teaching out of the state of Texas a little more. And besides outside of South Carolina, but like the Iowa thing I was just talking about. So I'm going to try and do a couple of clinics and private lessons outside of where I've been at so far.
Tyler, maybe you're onto something here with this shooting coach consulting type business for Madison. She could just travel around, do some one-on-one lessons with everybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking seminars, clinics, all sorts of stuff to build that personal brand.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really working on, my personal brand this year, who I am, what I'm all about, and just sharing my knowledge with others and get more women involved in the outdoors. That's another huge thing, and the youth as well.
Perfect. Can't have enough of that. Cannot have enough of that.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff is itching to talk about turkeys here, Jeff.
You read my mind. I'm sitting here like, I just can't wait to be selfish.
She's like
talking about turkey.
He's sitting there so patiently, right? We're talking about labs. He's the
dogs
guy.
for sure.
Yeah. Talking about shooting, right? Which is fun. We like talking about shooting, but he's sitting there like turkeys. Because I know you've got turkeys on the brain.
Spring is coming, man. How can you not? I don't understand how you guys don't partake in turkey season, because it is so fun and so addicting, and it's such a nice, it's right in between, right? It's a nice time to hunt in between the two main seasons, right? So I don't know how you guys don't do it. I really don't.
You guys should at least try it this year.
I've been trying, Madison. I've been trying. Tyler's probably closer than Matt.
I probably
I could probably drag Tyler out on a public land spot down by us or something, and at least put a camera in your hand.
I'm telling you, you just got to do it once, and just listening to a turkey gobble. I mean, and then watching them full strut. you're going to fall in love with it. You got to try it at least once, just once.
So I've had more than a handful of people tell me that turkey hunting is like the thing. There's nothing quite like it. I just have not taken that step. And one of these people owns like several hundred acres in Buffalo County, Wisconsin, which is the county, the top deer hunting county basically in the entire country.
Say that's big deer. Yeah.
Yes, the mature bucks are at a higher ratio there than anywhere else. It's unreal. And so this guy has a chance to kill monster bucks every year. And he's like, I'd rather go turkey hunting, because when they come in and they're spitting and drumming at like 20 yards, he's like, it is a different kind of adrenaline rush.
You
It's
feel
natural.
it, especially if you're in the woods. It's just unbelievable how loud those things are.
Yes.
But-
Especially when they're right up on you, it gives you chills. And I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, this is what I love so much. I just want to do it every day of the year. I wish I could do that.
See what they say, duck hunting is the most fun, but turkey hunting is the biggest adrenaline rush.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are missing out.
You are.
Okay, Jeff, if that's a true
Put the dog
statement,
training,
if that's
to
a
the
true
side
statement,
for a week.
Oklahoma geese day one versus a turkey strutting into your lone decoy.
Well, come on. We're talking averages.
You said adrenaline
We're
rush,
talking
'cause
averages here. It is an adrenaline rush. You have to try it. You really do. I can tell you that I wasn't shaking like a leaf when we were sitting in those socks with all the geese coming in. That was an absolute blast. But if you get a tom gobbling at you at 20 yards, you're just shaking.
Yeah.
And then when you put that thing down and it's flopping, like you can barely stand and walk. It is such a rush. You got to try it.
All right.
See?
Sounds like shooting a deer.
Well,
Still not going to do it. Sounds fun. But
yeah. Well, we'll get you out there sometime. Okay, enough of that. You guys are haters. I'll talk to Madison here. You guys can just drop off. So you mentioned single season slam you're going for this year.
Yes, I am.
That is amazing. Tell us more about that.
I am super excited. So I actually had somebody reach out to me right after I hunted the last part of the season. And he's like, hey, like, I know you don't know me, but I'd love to give you a call and talk about doing some women's content. He was like, your name kept getting brought up with Mr. Rick Dunn. I hunted with him. And all I did was like this picture. I guess he saw that I was the girl that they were talking about. And so I did that. I gave him that call. And I'm like, yeah, like this year I really want to do my Grand Slam. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And so anyways, so I'm going to Florida to go do my Osceola here on the 24th. So I'm super excited about that. Then I'll go and fill my Eastern tags for South Carolina right after that. And then we'll be road tripping to Texas for the Rio and then to Wyoming for my Merriam's. So I think,
Awesome.
yeah, like I don't think I've ever been so excited for anything more than this. I mean, this has always been something I wanted to do, and especially to challenge myself to do it in a single season, because there's not many people who get to do it in a single season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm super excited about, is to be able to go and chase these turkeys and do a ton of walking and early mornings and sitting up against trees. I'm all for it. So I'm excited. I'm ready, and I'm counting down the days until I'm headed down to Florida.
So the Osceola starts first, and I've heard that's the toughest bird to get.
Yeah.
Right now, say you don't get an Osceola, are you going to continue the slam or continue to go through and just maybe not do the single season, but continue on with your slam?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, you're right. Like the Osceola is the hardest bird to get your hands on. There's only but so many of them down in Florida, and everybody wants to kill one.
Yeah.
So there's small.
And I've heard it's like a small piece of Florida even that has the majority of them, right? And there's so many people that travel down to do this that unless
Right.
you have private land access, it's really difficult to do.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm actually going to go kill my turkey on private land. Wanted to do it on public, but there's just, I mean, thousands of people down there on public land. Your chances of killing a turkey there is like very, very slim.
Mhm.
So trying to give myself the best shot possible with the Osceola and decided to go private land for that. So
Which one do you think you're most excited about?
I will say I want to kill my Osceola. I'm super excited about that. But I've never been to Wyoming, and I think just the thought of, doing the hiking, doing the listening, like that part, I think the experience is what I'm most excited about that hunt. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, and the Merriams, I mean, that's been a subspecies that I've wanted to shoot for the longest time. Like, they're just such beautiful birds. I love the white tips on their feathers. Like, I've heard they're loud, they're aggressive. Like, it just sounds like a blast.
Yeah. I actually drew a public land tag in Arizona for Merriam last season. And with work, I only hunted 5 days. And like I said, it was public land. And when I tell you how hard it is, like, I hunted my butt off for 5 days straight. And it's like, okay, like, I got close once, but I never got a shot on a turkey. I saw hens, but that was, I mean, it's hard hunting public land, especially in a state where you have to draw a tag. You're not guaranteed a tag, and everyone is in there camping out and, trying to do the same thing you're doing. And when I tell you, I probably heard maybe 4 shots that whole span I was there. I mean, it wasn't a ton, but I mean, we heard some, and just that experience was super cool. So I think that's part of the reason, like, I really want to go after this Merriam's, is because I hunted hard 5 days for one on public land, and I did not end up filling my tag.
So have you harvested any other subspecies besides the Easterns?
No, I haven't. So
This is gonna
Easterns
be
are
a big deal. Like, this is a big deal.
It is. I'm super excited about this Grand Slam.
So the thought that goes to my head, again, not to bring this back to food, but I'm going to, is how do you think what kind of difference in taste do you think you're going to get between the 4 subspecies?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that. Because they all have different vegetation, eating different, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I mean, I would say that, so I've had Arizona coos deer because I killed a coos deer, and I mean, the only other deer I've ate around here is like South Carolina. I mean, we harvest a ton of deer every year, and so I've eaten a ton of that. And I would say, like, the coos deer is more clean tasting. So yeah, I'm sure there probably is a little bit of a difference in taste, but I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I would be curious about that too. Coos deer is on my list of things I would love to kill at some point in time in my life. I think that would be like a really fun hunt to do.
Yeah. And that hunt was on public land in Arizona. I drew a tag for that, and it was the same thing. Like, everyone was in there. And it's like, if you even see because it's only buck tags, if you even see a buck, it's like you're shooting it and you're lucky. You're one of the lucky ones that just gets to see a buck out there. And they are so hard to find. I mean, when you're glassing and it's like, okay, there's something moving, and you're just hoping that it's a buck, which is, you spend most of your time just glassing up there from a high spot. But yeah, I'm super excited about all the fun stuff I have coming up this year.
See, the deer hunter had to bring it back to deer. We're over here talking turkeys, and then he switches the conversation over.
I started talking about eating turkeys, which I mean, sounds I mean, Jeff, if you were like, hey, let's go turkey hunting, and then let's make some fresh turkey schnitzel on the tailgate after we kill a bird, you might convince me.
Okay. All right. We'll get you out there.
Okay. You're talking me into this here. You're like, you could just film. I'm like, okay, all right, I could do that.
Feel me just
Maybe.
shaking because of the adrenaline rush that is turkey
I
hunting.
know. I know.
All right.
You gotta get me started somehow. Anyway, sorry.
So you're starting with the Osceola.
Yes.
What does the time frame look like, right? So Easterns are usually like end of April into May. At least it is in our neck of the woods.
So our season for the Eastern this year is April 3rd through May 3rd. So, I mean, I'm literally going from Florida to South Carolina to do my Eastern. And then from there, I'll go straight to Texas. And then I'll have a little more time to get, my Merriams. But the season goes out a little later in Wyoming. But yeah, it's all going to be like boom, 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 going to happen so quick. And it's like we're very limited on days as well. So I'm just hoping that the weather cooperates, and so does the birds.
Mm-hmm. So most of these states must not have like a lottery system. Like here in Wisconsin, you have to apply for like a specific period, and it's only a week long. And they have leftover tags that you can get like later on in the season, but like those earlier like prime time seasons, you have to apply for it. Are most of these states just like you get a start date and an end date and just X amount of tags?
Yeah. So like, cause I asked about the Florida tag, and the guy's like, yeah, he's like, all you need to do is just buy your license, and you actually buy your tag online, which I didn't know, because in South Carolina, you buy your license, you buy your tags, and then they'll mail you your tags, and you got to have the physical tag in person. But from my understanding, like the night before, I can go online into the app and just buy my license and my tag, which I didn't know they did it like that. But yeah, same thing for here in Texas. When you buy your hunting license, it actually gives you your tags on the actual hunting license, and you just stick them on whatever you're harvesting. And I'm not sure about Wyoming. That's something I need to check into. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Wyoming is just over the counter.
Yeah, that's nice. I wish that's something that they did in Wisconsin, because, like I said, you draw that period and you get your week.
Right.
And let's say you get sick. Let's say the weather doesn't cooperate. Well, most people, that's the only chance they're going to get, whereas if you had a start date and a finish date and you just get, one tag, doesn't matter what period you fill that tag, you just get one. I don't really understand why they do that. I don't know if it's like to keep, public lands and stuff from getting overcrowded. But I really wish they would just give you X amount of tags over a long period of time. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think it's just because, maybe everybody's trying to draw tags and the population just isn't there. Maybe that's why. Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about turkeys on was it our last podcast? We were talking about how like such a success it is in the Midwest. Like it's like one of the greatest conservation stories in history in terms of like the reintroduction of turkeys into the United States. It's a pretty cool story. Yeah. So, well, cool. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to follow along with that. And I hope you get them. I really do. Yeah. You better post some stuff on social, because I'm going to be chomping at the bit to see how you're doing. I am. I'm actually, all of my hunts are going to be filmed. So that's the part, just being able to have that as a memory. I'm excited about that piece too. So
where are the hunts going to be posted at?
So they'll be posted on my social media. Okay. So they'll be there, and then there'll be a few other places I just can't say yet. But so hopefully that'll come out pretty soon. So I'm excited for that.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I'll watch some turkey hunts where you're shooting the grand slam here.
We'll get on Madison.
Yeah. So you can talk me into anything tonight, right? I'm mentally a little bit overtired and over cough dropped here. So, all right. Yeah. Let us know when, and I'll be happy we can share that on our social too to promote it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, Mr. Turkey.
I'll stop talking turkeys now. I know I beat it up enough.
No, this is good. You're in your element here.
My last question.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you have a plan when you harvest these birds? Do you have a plan on what you're going to do with them in terms of like the tail feathers, the beards? Like, do you have this all predetermined in your mind?
Yeah. So, okay. If I ever got a turkey fully body mounted, it would be an ocellated turkey. Okay. The jungle turkey. So that would be one that I would want to get fully body mounted just
Those
because
things are crazy.
I know, right? Like
Yeah.
I need one of those in my house one day.
Yeah.
But I think for this year, I'm just gonna do so I kind of have two ideas. The first one is just a simple, you take the fan off, the beard and the spurs, and you have it mounted on like the little plaque thing. And then, but I've also seen, I'm fairly sure y'all seen it too, where somebody has taken the feathers and it's kind of like in the big picture frame. Some of them are in like shape of a diamond. Some of them are just in the shape of a square. And they have like some of the, like they have the front, they have the tail feathers, like the fan. And then they have like part of the wing feathers, things like that. And it's just like incorporates all the colored feathers on the turkey. I guess that might be the best way to describe it. And then I've seen where they just kind of put the beard off the bottom and lets it hang with the spurs. So I'm not too sure yet, but I'm definitely going to do something because I want to kind of do like a mount for all four of them together, if that makes sense. Just as like okay, this was my single season Grand Slam, and that's the ultimate end goal. So I'm banking on it happening that I get to harvest all four. So.
For sure. And then next step, World Slam.
Yes, I want to do the World Slam. So goal this year is the North American, and the next year the World. So
Which
All
is,
right.
is it
For
8 subspecies?
I was going to say, for us non-turkey people, how many is in the world? I knew the North American, but
So I think it's just, and I think, okay, so the Royal Slam is the North American plus the Goulds, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the World Slam is North American plus the Oscillated and the Goulds. I think it's just 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And the oscillated turkeys, I mean, you got to go down. That's primarily Mexico, correct?
Yeah, in Mexico.
Nice. Matt, did you see any of those when you were running around down there duck hunting?
definitely not. No. And I don't know what the season was because nobody was going for turkeys down there at the time. It was all like desert rams, the Coos deer, and waterfowl, at least in January, February. So I don't know what the normal time would be.
Those things are just wild looking. It's like a peacock and a turkey mixed together.
Yeah, they're super cool mounted.
Yeah. I'll be really curious to see, like, since you've only harvested in Eastern before. Obviously that's all I've ever hunted as well. Like, I'd be really curious to get some feedback at the end of this. Like, what is your favorite, right? And in the end, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
So, well, good luck. That's gonna be fun to follow along for sure. I'm sure you're gonna get it.
I'm really hoping so. I'm like, okay, this is the year that I want to go hunt super hard for them. Not saying in the future I want, but this is the year that I'm just like, okay, this needs to happen this year because I love turkey hunting. I don't have, Tilly's at school right now. So I feel like that my best chance of doing it in a single season is when you don't have a puppy at home that you have to take care of. So I'm really excited to go after it and hunt super hard over the next 30, 40 days.
Awesome. All right. I'll stop talking turkeys now. I'm out of questions.
Okay. I mean, Jeff, here's the deal. You're like, oh, I don't want to monopolize things, but Matt and I do not engage you in turkey talk. All right. This is you. We have a guest here who is willingly feeding into your turkey obsession. So you have to take advantage.
That's true. I got a little time to wait too. My tag's not till the end of April. So I've been chomping at the bit.
Okay. All right.
So,
yeah. I'm going to hold back a comment. I had another comment, but it was a selfish
no. Go ahead. Let's say it.
No, I can say I mean, turkey hunting. I can't wait to take up turkey hunting and discover another bird that I can't actually call in. So,
well,
maybe this will be the one though. Maybe you'll find that you're just a stone cold killer when it comes to turkeys.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe it's your calling.
Sure. I doubt it. I seriously doubt that.
Maybe you're just like a box call guy. Like that might be. Just,
Be a box call guy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be a natural.
Yeah. Definitely not a mouth call person.
I wasn't going to suggest it because I figured
I can't use those. I can't use those.
Yeah. Gag.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we're getting sidetracked again. Okay, Matt, Jeff, what do we miss with Madison here? We've been caught up on a lot of major stuff here.
Yeah. So the only other thing I had, since we're in the off season, technically, the weather's getting warmer. A lot of people are going to start going back out to the range, shooting clays, practicing for the season. If you had like 1 or 2 tips for everybody for this season, this off season, what would be your biggest tips for people trying to advance their shot for next year?
Yeah. So one of the things I would say is being consistent. So like you can literally, and we talked about this on the last podcast, but getting in front of a mirror and just doing gun mounts. And then the second thing is trusting yourself, which is meaning don't look at the end of the barrel. We don't aim our shotguns, we point it.
Tyler, got that?
I got it.
Down.
I got it.
Turkey hunting, though, you might have to aim, Tyler.
That's the exception.
Yeah. We'll get you a nice big red dot scope and there's no way you're going to miss.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. It's good. No, that's good. It's simple. I'll think about that a little bit. I've got a lot of time to think about that tip before duck season rolls around and I, overthink things again and in my own head. So, all right, gentlemen, do we want to go with our, what are we calling it now? Pass shooting questions. We're not calling Sky Blast questions.
We can call them Sky Blast questions here. I don't know if you listened to our, it was a couple episodes ago. Who was it again that said
Maxwell.
that was Maxwell.
Yeah.
He said we had to make things a little bit more PC around here and call it pass shooting and not sky blasting because we don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah. Yes. He was one of our guides in down in Oklahoma. We went to
Okay.
Yeah.
So very interesting guy. Very, very interesting guy.
So we got pass shooting questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And you're familiar with these. We were grilling you last time.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for round 2?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Tyler, sicko, do you have any over there?
Do I have any? Maybe. I forget. I didn't write them down though. I had them in my head. So come back to me.
Oh
I
boy.
got 'em. I know.
Oh boy. All right, Matt, you go ahead first.
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No.
Oh,
All right, I got some.
I'll
I'll start
with
it
a
off.
couple. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start it off. All right, I'm going to throw you a softball question here, Madison. This is softball.
Okay.
It should be easy.
Okay.
What's your go-to turkey load?
TSS Premier by Remington. It's the only
TSS.
it's the only turkey load that exists in my mind.
Okay. When I first started, I used Nitro, Remington Nitros for a long time.
Yep.
And now I'm a Longbeard XR guy right now. But I could try, I could be convinced to try some TSS.
Yeah. So I have a quick story for TSS.
Okay.
Last year, I actually hunted for Rio. It was probably 5 or 6 days of the season. I didn't have much time. And the first 3 mornings I turkey hunted, I called in. I ended up killing 5 coyotes over the first 3 days of the season.
Oh, dang.
And the first time it happened to me, I was getting scared because it was 2 of them. And this pair was running right towards my decoy. And I was obviously on the other side of the decoy. And I'm like, okay, well, they're getting closer and closer. And so I just threw the gun up and I shot both of them. And when I tell you, I have never seen, it was like they ran into a brick wall. I have never seen something just like stop like that at 35, 40 yards. It was actually insane. And so I was like, okay, this will get the job done for sure.
That's awesome. Are you shooting a 12 gauge or a 20?
20 gauge.
20 gauge?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I bought some TSS. I think it was Remington, but I bought some 410 loads because I wanted to shoot a turkey with my 410, a single shot.
Yeah.
So I bought TSS for that, but I haven't tried it out of the old 12 gauge before.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Definitely made me a believer. And I was already a believer beforehand because I've killed turkeys with TSS, but not, I've never killed anything like a coyote. You know, I figured it would, you know, make them bleed a little bit, but
Yeah.
not just stop them and they fall over like that.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
What shotgun are you using?
So for turkey season this year, I'm using a Rob Roberts Super Black Eagle 320 gauge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Pot call, box call, or mouth call?
Mouth call.
You do use a mouth call.
I do.
I am jealous though. I really am. Like, I really wish I could use one. I don't know what it is. I cannot get them to sound any better than just a dying, squealing turkey. But so I stick with the pot calls, but
yeah. So here's how I got started on a mouth call. So my dad he bought this whole pack of them and he could never get it figured out. And I was like, can I have one of those? Like, I just want to play around and like see. And so I have called in turkeys for my dad and using that mouth call. And so, which is pretty cool because I mean, I never would have probably used it unless he had bought that whole pack and he was never going to use them since he couldn't figure it out. So that's been kind of fun. I use the Woodhavens. They're great. They're fun. I love them. So they work. So
yeah, it was such an advantage too, like just from a movement perspective,
right?
Because you don't, I mean, some guys will put their hand up to their mouth, you know, to kind of change the pitch a little bit, but you don't have to fumble around with a pot or a box. You know, you can have your hands on your gun and still do a little bit when they get close. Like, it's a huge advantage when it comes to that.
Yeah, and that's like another reason why I really like it is because I feel like we do enough to try and not let the turkeys see us moving just to get the gun up. And, you know, you're down here moving your hands and trying not to get caught from movement. So I think that's a huge advantage of using the mouth call as well.
Yeah, I'm convinced it's like some people are born with the right shape of the roof of their mouth to run these things. And other people, it's just like, it's just never going to happen.
Well, and I've actually so now Woodhaven, they came out with, I don't know exactly what they're called, but like they're minis. So the mouth calls that I had previously, I've had to take a pair of scissors and cut it smaller because it was too big for my mouth. So now they have the little mini ones and those work very well for me. And I know a lot of people, they've gone to the minis because they just fit better. They don't have to cut them and all of that. So
Interesting.
maybe try those, look into those.
Maybe I still got a shot.
There you go.
Okay. All right, I'll get off the turkeys here. Those are my 2 turkey-related questions. My last one, what is your favorite musical artist of all time?
Oh, Zach Bryan. I love Zach Bryan.
Nice.
Love Zach.
That's a good choice.
Yes.
That's a good choice. All right, that's all I got. Tyler, did you come up with any?
Oh, of course I did. Of course I did.
Are they food-related?
One of them is.
Okay.
Question for you, Madison. Did you attend SHOT Show this year?
I did not, but I went to the NWTF show.
Okay. So the Remington had a giant booth as always at SHOT Show. It was right. It was like, wow, I should have asked if you went there. Okay. Let's see here. What is your favorite duck recipe?
Okay, so it's kind of like a teriyaki duck and rice recipe, but I love it. So I'll brine my duck, and then I'll sear it in the pan, and then I'll finish it off in the oven just a little bit because I feel like that I like duck medium. But I feel like it dries it out whenever you sear it as well. So I will finish it off in the oven, and then teriyaki and rice, just a simple recipe, sesame seeds in there. So
I would eat that. Sounds good to me.
It's good. I really enjoy it. It's very good with teal. I think teal is the best meat to use for that. So
I'm a fan. I'm down. I'm down. All right. Okay. So the last time we talked, you were not a huge fan of Texas food. I think was it Texas barbecue?
Texas barbecue.
It was a Texas barbecue.
Yep.
Have you grown fond, or have you developed a palate for that?
I still hate it. And here's part of the reason why. Okay. I grew up in South Carolina. Our version of barbecue is not the same as here. And secondly, whenever every, event that goes on out here and people want barbecue catered, it's like, oh my gosh, anything but barbecue, please. Obviously, I'll eat it because I'm working the event, but I have had my fair share of Texas barbecue. I've tried to like it, and I just can't. And I know I'm going to offend some people who listen to this, but, I haven't been able to change my mind yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, it'd been a few months. I just wondered if you've eaten enough where it's like, yeah, it's okay now. But that's a
solid no.
yeah,
Hard no.
Hard no. So I would say that was a hard no. Definitely a hard no.
You would be correct.
All right. I think we're out of shells here on our sky blasting questions. So Madison, if people want to follow you on social media across all your channels, if they want to get in touch with you, if they want more information about anything we talked about today, how can they find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Madison_Sharp_. So you can find me there. Shoot me a message, and then I can also pass along my email to you guys to link in with the podcast. But yeah, anybody that has any questions about shotgun shooting, hunting, dogs, shoot me a message.
Go ahead and plug some of your sponsors too if you want.
Yeah.
Madison.
Yeah. And this year I have an amazing group of people that are standing behind me. So it started off strong, obviously Remington, I'm repping their hat tonight. Alamo Sporting Arms, they're based out of Texas. Krieghoff International, again, that I shoot. Castellani USA, so they provide me with vests every year. Pure Gold chokes, my shotgun chokes that I use. Let's see, Shot Cam, they're pretty new ones, so that's been real fun to use, not only just in the teaching aspect of it for me, but also I get to take it out into the field, get to video some of my hunts. And then Kids in Clay, so they're an organization that supports Ronald McDonald House. So we have a really good team that does a good job of helping market that for them and just support all the kids and raising money for that. So
excellent. Perfect. And thank you again for taking time to spend with us and catch up. I know I really enjoyed the conversation and learned what you've got going on. Obviously a few shooting tips here or there that I can chew on. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. And if for the folks that are listening, you've made it this far, you know what to do, right? Go just when this podcast finishes, go hit the 5-star review, right? You know you want to. Just hit the review button. Doesn't matter if you're on Spotify, Apple, wherever. Hit the review and then go ahead and shoot us a message. In all seriousness, shoot us a message on social media, any of our channels, mainly Instagram and Facebook. Let us know, give us feedback. We're always open to that. We want to know what we did well, what we didn't, future guests, anything like that. And other than that, have a great night, evening, afternoon, morning, or whatever time of day you're listening to this podcast. Later.